Park City before it moves to a new home in Boulder, Colorado. Utah leaders had swift reaction to the news. Governor Spencer Cox said it's disappointing, but he wishes the festival continued success while Utah remains committed to building a world-class film economy. The mayors of Park City and Salt Lake City issued a joint statement with the Utah Film Commission saying that they are grateful for the impact that Sundance has had on our communities and will keep fostering the arts and the spirit of storytelling here. The former counselor and convicted child abuser who worked with family vlogger Ruby Franke is now trying to get her sentence reduced.
Jody Hildebrandt pled guilty to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse in February of 2024. Court documents show she's now looking to get her sentence lightened because she claims her attorney didn't do enough and she didn't understand what she was pleading guilty to. Hildebrandt argues in the documents she was denied due process and wasn't given adequate notice of the charges. She claims she sent a letter to the courts with more details on her request. Hildebrandt is next scheduled to be in court for a parole hearing in 2026. Verl Johansson, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. President Trump has asked Republican Congressman Elise Stefanik to withdraw her nomination for U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. The move comes amid concerns about House Republicans' razor-thin majority and questions about whether she would have the votes to be confirmed. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day down 155 points. It's been a roller coaster ride today. It's been up and down, but ending down 155 points, sitting at 42,299. S&P 500 down by 19 points, and the NASDAQ down by 95 points. Brace yourself for a change in the forecast, not just the precipitation, but also colder temperatures. An update coming up next.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's business solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to VaxAssist.com and schedule today. That's VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, are you nervous about this stock market volatility and what will happen with tariffs, taxes, and Social Security? You're invited to a free educational event with Jeff Bush. Jeff's been featured in Investment News and CNBC. He's a nonpartisan authority that talks about this is what's going on in Washington right now. Here's how it could impact you. And these are the actionable strategies that could protect and grow your retirement savings. This event is hosted by Boss Retirement Solutions. See Jeff Bush live on Thursday, April 10th at 6:30 p.m. in downtown Salt Lake. Reserve your free ticket now by calling 801-850-6988. That's 801-850-6988. 801-850-6988.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Boss Retirement Solutions and Advisors paid Jeff Bush for his appearance, but he is not affiliated with our firm.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. Let's check those trouble spots. Here's Ricky Meese.
Traffic stopped on southbound I-15 in Murray, where UHP was doing a freeway slowdown at the South Interchange. They've just released traffic, so you'll be moving again. And then northbound I-15. The cleanup continues in that right lane of traffic in Bountiful at 5th West from the earlier crash and load spill. Looking to connect your kids with nature? Flower gardening is hands-on time together and memories. Olson's Greenhouse offers perfect plants for families to grow together. For porches, patios, beds, or containers, visit Olson's at OGG.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The winds have picked up in downtown Salt Lake City, ushering in the clouds. That means a storm is headed our way for tomorrow. Tomorrow's high only 60 degrees compared to our high today of 78. 30% chance of showers. The big time change on Saturday. 70% chance of showers and a high of 54. It's 77 degrees. I'm Maria Chaleos from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Utah's top political experts break down the first 100 days of the new administration and discuss the day's biggest stories. Only on KSL News Radio.
The price of a new vehicle is on the topic list today following the implementation of a 25% tariff on all imported automobiles and car parts into the U.S., or proposed implementation. From President Trump, he made the announcement yesterday saying that this move will push foreign car makers to build factories here in the United States. Welcome to Inside Sources. I'm your co-host, Rusty Cannon, here with Leah Murray. I'm president of the Utah Credit Union Association. And Leah, you are, remind listeners.
I'm KSL's resident political science professor.
That's right, sorry.
But my real job is up at Weber State University.
Got it. Okay, I wanted to make sure we got that right. Cars and car parts from Mexico and Canada won't be subject to the tariffs if they comply with the USMCA. We can talk about that. These tariffs are set to go into effect on April 3rd. That is next week if you're not looking at a calendar. But like all the other tariff announcements from President Trump in recent weeks and months, we'll have to see if they actually go into effect. So he had a lot to say about this. Let's listen to what he said yesterday on this issue.
We're going to charge countries for doing business in our country and taking our jobs, taking our wealth.
He also spoke about the automotive industry.
But this is very exciting to me. This is the automobile industry, and this will continue to spur growth like you haven't seen. Before I was elected, we were losing all of our plants. They were being built in Mexico and Canada and other places.
All right, Leah, you know how much I am not a fan of superlatives. And the president, as he says, again, like you've never seen before. We'll cover that on another day, maybe in another segment of all these superlatives.
The superlative use?
The superlative use of never, like you've never seen before, the greatest ever. Let's just, move on. Anyway, so what do you think of this? Now, he is talking about, as far as we understand, cars and car parts that are imported into the U.S. And obviously this will affect different car makers differently because we have U.S. manufacturers and we have foreign manufacturers. However, and we'll go through a list here in a second, many of these foreign manufacturers actually have plants in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting to talk about, what did he say? Numbers we have never seen before. Once he announced these tariffs, we have got Ford fell 2%, General Motors fell 6%, Stellantis, which has Chrysler and Jeep and Ram, fell 1.6%. I don't know, are these the numbers that the domestic car industry was hoping that they've never seen before? Is their stocks just tumbling?
I doubt that, but the market does have a hard time digesting these tariff one-offs, if I can phrase that the right way, because they don't really know where they're going to land. It's a lot of uncertainty, and that's, I think, a lot of the problem with the approach that he has been taking on this. The issue I wanted to bring up is, I didn't know this till I looked in this today, where all of these foreign car companies have plants. I didn't know this. Toyota actually has plants in Kentucky, Indiana, Texas, and Mississippi. Honda operates facilities in Ohio, Alabama, and Indiana. Nissan has Tennessee and Mississippi. Hyundai is in Alabama. Kia assembles in Georgia. Subaru is in Indiana. Mazda, this list, I'm going to end soon, don't worry, shares a facility in Toyota in Alabama. BMW actually makes some of their SUVs in South Carolina. Mercedes-Benz in Alabama and South Carolina. Volkswagen, I should say, assembles in Tennessee for their Atlas and Passat. And Volvo builds the S60 and some other models in South Carolina. So I think, Leah, correct me if I'm wrong, his intention is to say, hey, the idea is to bring your manufacturing, bring it all here into the U.S. But there's a problem. There's really no car out there that is made entirely with U.S. parts.
Right. So even if it wasn't just the factories here, which, by the way, that whole list shows that the foreign cars are being made in the United States as well. And Rusty, let me just ask you a question. Mm-hmm. The United Auto Workers Union president, Shawn Fain, says he supports the tariffs because the Trump administration is stepping up to end the free trade disaster that has devastated working class communities for decades. But don't you think some of those workers in those unions work at those Toyota factories or those Mazda factories or at the, right? So a little bit, I'm like, it's not when like Mazda comes into the United States, they also bring in Japanese workers when they are building their cars in the United States. Those are actually like auto workers, United States citizens.
Well, yes, but I think the reason someone like that would support this policy is the idea is that you're bringing the actual manufacturing, the actual jobs, whether you're manufacturing parts or the cars themselves, back to the U.S., which would help job growth.
Right, except that they're already here, right? You just listed that whole list of foreign car companies that have factories, right? Yeah. And the little bit, I just want to say, my goodness, let me be the capitalist here on this show. Rusty, why are you not being the capitalist? But free trade disaster, that to a certain extent, free trade has all of our industry operating on a free market. That's what capitalism is, right? Yeah. So if you want me to buy your car, I need you to make a better car, right? So the answer is I'm going to go choose the best car for me and my family and my pocketbook when I am making that decision. And a little bit, if people want me to buy Ford, then Ford needs to, right, tick all those boxes. And to add tariffs, like that's not how this works. Free markets, that's not how this works.
Yeah, along the same line, I think it's important to remember the car industry is very, very competitive. There is also room obviously I don't own a car dealership, but I've gone through the pain of buying enough cars and experiencing this world enough to know dealers have, for the most part, a bit of room with incentives and those kinds of things. As an example, we bought a car sometime last year. And we could have financed the vehicle, the local credit union or something at, say, 6-7%. However, the manufacturer of the car was offering 0.9. That is thousands of dollars of savings over the life of the loan. It was a big deal. So we said, okay, well, we'll take that. Okay, so maybe incentives like that get shaved. It's maybe 2.9% or 3.9%, and to offset whatever hurt they're taking on the tariff. This does not mean, and I think some people are jumping to a conclusion too quickly, this doesn't mean that, hey, 25% tariff, the car goes up by X amount. We have no idea. It's going to take some time to see, and we'll have to see how dealerships and how the market adjusts. Could it drive up prices? Well, absolutely. And it likely will. We don't know to what scale and when.
Well, it's interesting, actually. There's the Anderson Economic Group, which is a Michigan-based think tank. That was think tank was the word I stuttered on right there. Said that the cost of producing vehicles built at United States plants, so in these factories that supposedly are going to go up all over the place, will rise between $3,500 to $12,000 each car. So here's the deal, Rusty. It is not the case that these car companies are going to go, well, we'll just eat that. That is going to be passed along to the consumer. Right? What protectionist trade does is pass cost back along to the consumer.
Well, I think it can, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will. Like I was saying, there is room for in the margins, as you say, the profit margins, whether it's incentives and those kinds of things. We have to see how they adjust, because I'm willing to bet that there will be car dealerships or car brands that figure out a way to deal with this. And as they set the price and set the market, others will have to follow to stay competitive. I think the auto market is better at absorbing this than most people are assuming right now, but I could be wrong.
I think it's a shock to an industry that's an unnecessary shock, right? Like these are trading partners that we should respect, and cars are something we all need to buy. Bad move.
Understood. So a lot more to talk about coming up on Inside Sources. Breaking just before the show, the White House has pulled Elise Stefanik's nomination to be the U.S. ambassador to the UN. over concerns about slim Republican margins in the U.S. House of Representatives. More on this right after the break.
Selling or buying a home, you're losing a lot of money if you're not using the Bank Buster loan. This is Rod with the Save Right Realtor team at RealtyPath. Nothing compares to the Bank Buster loan. Home sellers, you get a quicker sale and a higher net price. How? The buyer of your home gets a rate as low as 4.75% with a payment that saves them hundreds every month. The ultra-low Bank Buster rate is not a seller concession that comes out of your pocket. It's all thanks to our affiliate lender, Save Right Mortgage, and their Bank Buster loan. Hire the Save Right Realtors when you sell or buy a home, and you automatically get a preferred lender and a Bank Buster loan. Buyers, you can start with a rate in the ones. Don't lose tens of thousands of your hard-earned money. Sell and buy your home with a Bank Buster loan. Call 801-APPROVE or visit SaveRight.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
This is Derek Overstreet of the New Millennium Group and host of Stop Working and Start Living Radio. If you're close to or in retirement and you don't have a tax plan, call us right now, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Listen, our country's been spending like never before, and the tax bill is coming soon. If you need an income tax strategy and a financial plan that will get you through the rest of your life, give my team a call, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. If you want an investment plan that allows you to keep more of your gains and pay less taxes, give us a call, 888-999-6370. My team specializes in the type of plan that will get you retired 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible. So, get a no-cost tax analysis by calling 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. My team is standing by now.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Dave and Debbie.
It's impossible to digest and consume all of the news that's now coming at us through either social media or through web pages or through the radio. Pick what is most impactful in your life and focus on that. And that's what Dave and I do every single morning. We pick those issues that are most important to our listeners and we boil it down so it's digestible. It's simple to understand.
I think we're trying to find the essence of the story. You know, you can't be an expert on all things, but that doesn't mean you can't be curious and really find out more and educate yourself and learn the complexities of an issue. But I think all of us start at ground zero on everything. Ask questions, show that curiosity.
And then if you need more research, you can always go to KSLNewsRadio.com and learn more.
Listen for Dave and Dejanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources on KSL News Radio.
Republicans have a thin majority in the United States House of Representatives. And reports say, and I agree, that they are nervous about losing that majority because we've got some special elections coming down the pike. Just before today's show, President Trump announced that he was withdrawing current United States Representative Elise Stefanik's nomination to be a UN ambassador. Why? Let's go first to ABC's Karen Travers for a little on the reasoning the president gave.
President Trump has pulled the nomination of Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to be his ambassador to the United Nations. The move comes amid concerns about House Republicans' razor-thin majority and questions about whether she would have the votes to be confirmed. The president wrote on social media, quote, "With a very tight majority, I don't want to take a chance on anyone else running for Elise's seat. The people love Elise, and with her, we have nothing to worry about come Election Day." Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
So right there, I don't want to take a chance on anyone else running for Elise's seat. So I just want to reveal something personal right here. Elise Stefanik is my father's congresswoman.
Really?
So the place that I go back every summer, take my family to, is an Elise Stefanik district. So for the record, there are Republicans in the state of New York, and there are actually quite a few of them. And in that district, every other's house has like a Trump sign right? So we were there over the summer and it's very much Trump country. In fact, I would argue it's more Trump country than I see here. Very rural, right? So the North Country, they call it, in the state of New York. And I just want to say there is no way that a Republican doesn't win this seat. So even if Elise Stefanik, who he is saying they love her, my dad, I'm not so sure, loves her as much as maybe other people do, but that they love her and we would have nothing to worry about come Election Day. I'm going to tell you what, Rusty, they would have nothing come Election Day to worry about if any Republican ran, because that's a Republican, hardcore red Republican district. I think the fact that he is pulling this nomination for Elise Stefanik to be the ambassador to the UN is because they are a little bit worried about other special elections not going their way.
Got it. Okay, so I disagree. I say I'm taking him seriously here and not literally. I don't know why he said it's about her seat. It's not about her seat. It's about all of the seats. Now, he has not taken my advice on tariffs yet, but I'm wondering if he's starting to listen to other people's advice on pulling House members for positions in his cabinet. I was irritated in the fall after the election when he kept doing it. And I thought, why are you taking good? I mean, they're great people. Why are you taking them out of the House where you have this razor-thin majority and making it even worse? So as it stands right now, 218 Republicans, 213 Democrats. You have 4 vacancies. One from Matt Gaetz. Oh, I'm glad he's gone. Number 2, Michael Waltz.
By the way, 2 in Florida. So
Yeah, 2
those
in
are the
Florida.
districts I was talking about. Yeah,
Correct.
go.
Yeah, and so we'll get to that. So Matt Gaetz and Michael Waltz. Gaetz left. Waltz is obviously in the news lately a lot, is now National Security Advisor. The other 2 vacancies are from recent deaths. Sylvester Turner, a Democrat from Texas, died on March 5th, and Raul Grijalva, if I said that right, a Democrat in Arizona, died on the 13th of March. So you have 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. Let's say they stay in Republican hands. We'll get to that next, but let's say they do. Then the majority is roughly the same. It's that 3 to 4 seats. Now, the other day we had a vote where the Republicans lost Massey, moved them down to 217, and they gained a Democrat on the vote. I can't remember which vote, and it went to 214. So that's the margin you're looking at. It's like 3 seats, maybe 4. You have an election in Florida next Tuesday. I think early voting's already happening. And then the final day is next Tuesday, April 1st. And that is for, and I'm not sure if it's Gaetz's seat or Michael Waltz's seat. I just don't have that in front of me. Regardless, if any of those go differently, then you get an even a thinner majority. So I think it makes total sense to keep her in Congress. Aside from the fact that I don't know why anybody would want to go be the UN ambassador. That's just my personal opinion. That's a whole nother subject. the value put in the United Nations. However, we're talking about this majority. Now, to the election in Florida, Leah, I know you have some opinions here about what's going on there. What do you think of that election coming next Tuesday in Florida?
Yeah, so the one coming Tuesday is the Mike Waltz seat, right?
Thank
So
you.
that's what we're looking at right down the gate. And the thing is, so there's 2 districts in Florida. One's from Mike Waltz, and the other one's over in Florida's Panhandle. That one hasn't elected a Democrat since 1995. So what's interesting
That's
is
30 years if you want to do
yeah,
that.
it's a long time, right? So we would expect that district to go to the Republicans. But here in this Mike Waltz seat, we have got the Democrat, who is like a teacher at a middle school, has raised nearly 10 times more money than the Republican who is running for office. So it was a state senator, someone who was endorsed by Donald Trump, and he is underperforming in raising money. So then what we see today in the headlines is Elon Musk has mobilized his super PAC to go down there and spend a whole bunch of money for him. And then also we just saw, as we started this segment, that President Trump's going to go do a rally to make sure that Mr. Fine, who he has endorsed, actually gets some love from this district. I don't think you deploy that kind of money or that kind of energy. And the thing that's this is what I want to say. This district, I think, was like plus 30 points for Trump back in November.
It was.
The fact that it is in any kind of danger, just 4 months out, 5 months out, has got to give Republican establishment an upset tummy, rusty cannon, right? So the answer here is it's not just about the slim majority. I cannot have Elise Stefanik step down if it is the case that Mr. Fine is not going to win in Florida. And if he doesn't win, then you watch the cascading, right? The dominoes start to fall and all the questions coming, all those, right, questions coming in. What do we think about the Trump administration? One of my favorite headlines off of Bloomberg, which says, don't follow polls, follow special elections. These are huge signs of where the bellwether, where the wind is going. And I do think they're worried about it.
So you can't see it because I'm on the radio, but I was yawning just there.
Yeah, I love that you yawn. But here, let me give you a Republican.
I'm trying, just making a joke.
So you don't want to listen to me.
No, I do.
Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski said about the decision to pull the nomination, supposedly because of tight margins in the House, she asked, they just realized that now? So a little bit, that answer was true back in November, December, back when Elise Stefanik was getting to go to the cabinet level meetings because she thought she was going to be a cabinet level appointee. What has changed? The change is numbers coming in Florida.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't yawn again.
I'm not going to yawn again, but I'm now going to make my point, which was or is that this, I think, is, and I could be wrong, I think it's much ado about nothing. There are plenty of polls that any campaign would put out close to an election showing their candidate gaining traction. I can think very recently of elections here in Utah, in not only in primaries but also in general elections, where a campaign will issue a poll saying, hey, look, we're doing really good. Typically, not always, but often those are false hopes. The fact that this guy has raised a ton of money compared to the Republican there, I don't think it matters. I think we have plenty of cases in Utah. As an example, the recent elections that we had in the Republican primary for Senate. You saw a ton of money spent by a few people that got them nowhere. And I mean, nowhere is probably too cruel of a term. They didn't do that well. I don't think just because he's raised 10 times the money, it means much at all. If it is a place where Trump gained or won by 30 points, yes, maybe it is slightly more competitive. I would fault them for not deploying assets and not sending the president down there regardless. You should be there. They're on the same team. You should be there. I just think it is a little too much to read into it that they're somehow very, very worried about this Florida seat. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't see any credible numbers that show that this is anywhere within reach for that Democrat in that seat.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure I disagree with you there. I think they're thinking about it. And here's the question I have for you, just different for the last minute of this conversation. So Elise Stefanik, when she was nominated to be the ambassador to the United Nations, was a number 3 House Republican. So she was in the leadership team. She forfeited that post when she got nominated, so she could go be part of Trump's cabinet. What I hear Mike Johnson, so I guess he tweeted today, Elise Stefanik is truly a great leader, a devoted patriot, and that he would invite her to return to the leadership table immediately. So I'm just going to ask the Utah question. Does that bump or bounce our own Blake Moore in that?
You know, until you said that, I didn't think about that. that is a question that needs to be answered. I don't know how it works. What did he tweet? He said he's inviting her back into
to the
leadership.
table immediately.
Back to the table immediately. Now, so they did take heat. She was the only female, and she was out. Wow. So if you bring her back in, who loses their seat?
Right.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think everybody in leadership should be a little nervous at this point.
All right, next up on Inside Sources, changes to elections on the national and local level are coming. We'll dig into one of President Trump's latest executive orders and a bill just signed into our own executive, Governor Cox. Stay with us.
Good afternoon. It's 2:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. KSL's top local story. Sundance is moving out of Utah to Boulder, Colorado, starting in 2027. KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce reports.
The Sundance Institute noted Boulder's small-town charm and vibrant art scene as playing a role in their decision. They called Boulder the ideal location to build the festival's future. Founder and President Robert Redford went on to thank Park City, the state of Utah, and the entire community for helping make Sundance what it is today.
Sundance will get one more year in Park City before the move. Our top national story from ABC News. Police in Las Vegas have arrested a 36-year-old man accused of firebombing Tesla vehicles last week.
Las Vegas police say technology was used to go from grainy surveillance video to identifying their suspect and now making the arrest. Paul Kim is facing state and federal charges accused of firing a rifle at Tesla vehicles and then firebombing them last week. Las Vegas Assistant Sheriff Dory Corrin says teams are looking into his affiliations online.
Some very loose but self-proclaimed ties to the Communist Party USA social media group.
Police are working to figure out if Kim is linked to any bigger group attacking Teslas nationwide. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Your money at this moment, the Dow down 155 points at the close, sitting at 42,299. S&P 500 off by 19 points. The NASDAQ down by 95. It's set for a big change in the forecast. We'll take a look at your weather coming up next. KSL News Time, 2:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
We were the Humane Society of the United States. 70 years of fighting for animals. Today, we are called Humane World for Animals, a name that reflects our unstoppable commitment to end animal cruelty globally. Humane World for Animals, the end of animal cruelty.
At Trio Senior Living, older adults aren't slowing down. They're just getting started. The Prime Fit Wellness Program expands wellness beyond the gym into every aspect of community life. Whatever your goals, the team at Trio Senior Living has got your back, so you can put your best foot forward. Call 801-475-4004 today to schedule your personal visit.
It doesn't matter if your only neighbors are wildlife or just wild in general. If you work from home or work is technically at home, every homeowner can save money by getting a ThermWise home energy plan from Enbridge Gas. Discover ways to make your home more energy efficient and apply for rebates if you purchase any energy efficient appliances. Schedule a home energy plan from Enbridge Gas at thermwise.com.
Over 3/4 of Americans suffer with foot pain every day. But Foot Solutions in Orem is here to give back your quality of life. Meet Patty.
I'm Patty from Saratoga Springs. I'm 74 years old. I just one day felt like I had a really bad stone bruise on the bottom of my foot, so I actually went to the doctor and he goes, "You've got a severe case of plantar fasciitis." I'm really an active person. I work outside a lot in my yard. I like to kayak, and it was slowing me down from being able to launch my kayak. I could hardly get to the bathroom in the morning. The pain was so stabbing and bad.
What made the difference for Patty?
I discovered Foot Solutions in Orem. I was talking to a friend that I knew had plantar fasciitis, and she said, "Have you tried Foot Solutions?" I went there and got some great orthotics and some cute supportive shoes. Then in about a month, the pain was almost completely gone. Talk about relief.
You deserve a life free of foot pain. Just search for Foot Solutions in Orem and find out more at footsolutions.com.
You really ought to go there. It's a good place.
Traffic and weather together is brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. Ricky, what's happening on the roads?
Northbound I-15 right lane's blocked still from the earlier accident approaching 4th North, 5th West, Bountiful, and Maria. I think we have people already trying to hit the road and get home to watch the BYU game because slowdowns are setting in. Southbound I-15 approaching and passing the I-215 junction going from Murray into Midvale. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Feels like Friday and it's not,
It
Ricky.
does. It's a trick.
It is a trick. The weather also a trick. It's changing big time. The winds have moved in, pushing in those clouds. That means a storm headed our way. 30% chance of showers tomorrow. More significantly tomorrow, though, the temperature dropping by about 20 degrees. 54 for a high on Saturday. 70% chance of rain. I'm Maria Chaleos from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Utah's top political experts break down the first 100 days of the new administration and discuss the day's biggest stories. Only on KSL News Radio.
For better or for worse, election processes are changing nationwide and here in Utah. This week, President Trump signed an executive order to overhaul U.S. elections in two ways. Number one, requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. And number two, a mandate that all ballots be received by Election Day nationwide. Then yesterday, Governor Cox signed House Bill 300 into law in Utah, making modifications to Utah's vote-by-mail system. So, Leah, first let's go to the federal question, then we'll get to Utah's bill, House Bill 300. I want to ask you, because you're the expert here. According to the U.S. Constitution, it says, quote, "The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. But the Congress may at any time, by law, make or alter such regulations." Let me have it. What does that all mean?
No, that was a good. Well, first of all, let's be clear in the way that you started this segment. President Trump using an executive order. So what you just read in the United States Constitution, does it say the president gets to do this?
Congress.
Does the executive branch have anything to do with this?
Not in what I read.
Absolutely not. So when we are talking about Utah law, at least we have a legislature making a decision and a governor and executive signing it.
Okay.
President Trump using an executive order, I feel, is overreach in an area that has nothing to do with him, especially in a Congress that is his party that agrees with him about elections. They could easily run a bill.
Okay.
But that's the horizontal power conversation, right, between the branches.
Let me ask you this. So if I read the executive order right, I actually have the executive order up on my screen. He is referencing the Election Assistance Commission and them taking action enforcing, apparently, Code Section 52 USC 20508. So if I understand it right, could someone make a case saying that this is the president saying, hey, go enforce what is already on the books as law?
You could, and right there, but that's what I was just about to say, Rusty. Let's have a conversation about the vertical checks and balances in this country. Mm-hmm. Probably it's not okay for the federal government to have an elections assistance commission that is telling states how to run their elections.
How long has that commission been around?
Since 2002. So we're talking the last couple of decades. That commission came out of the angst around the 2000 election when, Florida and the hanging chads and all the drama,
painful.
right? That whole thing. So basically, George W. Bush was like, let's have the federal government tell states what to do. So the federal government said to all the states, you're not allowed to use a butterfly ballot. So the first time I voted in Utah was a butterfly ballot, and the next time it had to be a Diebold machine. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason why we do vote by mail is because no one can afford those Diebold machines, and that unfunded mandate from the federal government came without any money to replace those machines. So it was a costly, without a fiscal note, measure coming out of the federal government telling states what to do. And a little bit, if you believe in states' rights, one of the areas absolutely is in the state's purview is what voters are eligible. We have 50 different versions of this across the country because state legislatures get to decide. And the fact that the federal government ever got involved 23 years ago, probably we would be arguing if we were on the show then. We would have that argument then. And then you're not wrong. President Trump telling an agency to go and enforce something is probably totally within his purview.
Okay.
The question I would have, too, is, again, I can't find a state. There is no evidence where states are not requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote. I'm someone who studies elections administration. They just can't find it anywhere. So there's all this kind of implication, right, that all these voters are fraudulently voting, and then you go looking and you can't find it anywhere. The second part of it, which is ballots being received by election day, I mean, a little bit that's like, okay, so you don't want to count ballots that come in on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday if you're doing mail voting. I mean, that's an argument to be made. I think I'm not sure I agree with it, but it's fine. I just a little bit. How did you say the last time we had a conversation? President Trump does a lot of noise.
Yeah,
this is not.
flies.
Yeah, he's swatting at flies. And Rusty, for me, thank you. That's right. That's what you said. This is him swatting at a fly that's already been swat. Is that the past tense of that? But literally, Republican Congresses have handled this. Republican legislatures have handled this. In the swing states that he won, it was handled. What are we talking about?
Yeah, I just don't know if I detect any emotion or in your voice. I don't know if you. Come on, get fired up about this, will you? But no, I see your point. In fact, I was thinking of just maybe it was last year, 2 years ago. I can't remember how long ago it was. When the House was controlled by the Democrats, Pelosi, they wanted to run. I think it was H.R. 1. I can't remember what the number was.
Yeah, Voting Rights Act.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It scared me when I looked at it to death. This cannot pass, right? Meaning, and if I remember right, what it kind of did, or at least seemed to do, was do a federalizing of elections, meaning where they could have it their way as they see how it should be done from the
right.
The
that
federal
Democrats at the national level would run it for the whole country.
Exactly. And so when the what did they say? When the shoe, no, I'm going to get the analogy wrong, but it has something to do with your shoe on the other foot, whatever it is.
Now that you're wearing the shoe.
Thank you. It's like it doesn't feel good still. So I get your point. One thing I want to do before the segment ends is contrast with the bill that the governor just signed.
Yeah, go.
This matters here. So voting by mail in Utah, the final version that passed, which is much different than the earlier versions, basically says, I'm just going to read a few of the bullet points from the bill summary, requires a registered voter who has a Utah driver's license or state ID to place the last 4 digits of that card number on the return envelope. Or you can do the last 4 of your Social Security number as an alternate. Now, it pushes much of this stuff out to 2029. Until 29, it permits a voter's identity to be verified using signatures if they don't want to go to this digit method. Then beginning in 29, provides that if a voter doesn't have a driver's license or an ID card or Social Security card, you can use a photocopy. Beginning in 2029, if a voter does not have any ID described in those other paragraphs, you're going to have to go vote in person unless you qualify for certain exceptions. And then in addition to that, beginning in 29, a voter will not receive a ballot by mail unless you request. You have to opt into that by mail, and that's a big one. We'll talk about that. And then last of all, it says it provides that a request to receive a ballot by mail is in effect for 8 years unless you don't vote, I think, for a certain period of time, then that takes it off as well. And last of all, it looks like, and then it had something to do with ballots arriving by Election Day. I just haven't scrolled down.
All right, so let me ask you this question. How many times do I have to click the box? So I go in and I register to vote, click, and then I have to go, while I'm here registering to vote, I'd like to vote, click. Like a little bit. This feels redundant, that piece right there. I'm kind of fine with adding the 4 digits of the state ID number. If you don't think the signature works, right, like having 5 signatures on file, my signature matches those 5. I've never had an issue with that. Yeah. Like Governor Cox says, a lot of people wrongly believe that we have mass fraud in our elections. It's just not true. It's just not true. So I'm with him on that completely. The thing that perturbed me when I was kind of watching this compromise, and I do appreciate that it was a compromise, is now I have to register to vote, and then I go, while I'm registering to vote, also could you send me this ballot? And then also, like a little bit, if I'm registering to vote, why do I have to opt in again to get the ballot?
Well, it shouldn't be that complicated. It says here, provides that a voter may request or renew a request to receive it by mail when you A, register to vote, B, make a request online, C, applies to receive or renew your driver's license or state ID card, or you vote at a polling place. So that I don't know if that's answering your question.
Yeah, and again, right here, 87% of Utahns told the Sutherland Institute, they did a poll, 87% saying that they were very confident or somewhat confident in ballot count accuracy after our last election. Again, this is a solution for a problem that really doesn't exist.
So when you spoke about the compromise, was part of the compromise that you appreciated pushing this to 2029, giving more years?
To not ending vote by mail completely.
Yeah, not voting by mail.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people appreciate vote by mail. We'll have to see how this unfolds. Obviously, not going away. We have until 2029 to get all our ducks in a row. All right. In our final segment on today's Inside Sources, we're going to discuss the latest on Utah's growing tech center, including the building of a 100-acre data center in West Jordan. We'll be right back.
Do you need new windows? Look, all glass pretty much looks the same to the naked eye, but if your windows aren't triple-coated, argon-filled and sealed double-pane glass, the cold is seeping in. You need to call Advanced Window Products. They use the highest quality glass and premium vinyl to create state-of-the-art windows and frames, and for 38 years, they build those frames right here in Utah. Custom crafted for Utah's climate. The best windows you can buy at prices 30 and 40% less than what the big companies charge because they cut out the middleman. They're the factory. They even give you a lifetime warranty, and right now as we head into spring, save an extra $2,500 off 10 windows or more. Custom windows that'll give your house a fresh new look and save you money on your heating and air conditioning. Advanced Windows offers 60-month 0% financing, even buy now, pay later, and an extra $2,500 off. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Join KSL News Radio's Amanda Dixon on Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. at the newest Bedrock Quartz location in Sandy, 8916 South State Street. Enter to win $5,000 in Bedrock Quartz products and services.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's with limited time savings on the supplies pros need. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And don't miss your chance to activate and earn 3 times the points on select DeWalt and Klein tools. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have a best friend?
How big would it shock you if somebody told you that your best friend just killed somebody?
911, what's your emergency? Someone on the other line said they kidnapped my son, and they're demanding $500,000.
On September 12th, 1995, 12-year-old McKay Everett disappeared from his home in Conroe, Texas. It was a crime that shocked the community because the suspect was so unlikely, so unexpected.
Former high-ranking police official. He'd run for sheriff at one point.
Law enforcement personnel were pretty much split down the middle over whether or not he actually did this.
And to this day, McKay's mother, Paulette, still feels that justice was never truly served.
I've asked myself so many times, what in the world happened?
Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Jeff Kaplan. I'm energized by breaking news. First of all, because it's right now, and second of all, because in many cases the audience needs to know. There's no more important service that we can provide, and I find it critically important to get more details to the audience as quickly as possible. There's nothing more energizing than that for me. Not at all. The most important thing we do is breaking news. I am gratified that so many people listen to me every afternoon on KSL, but what they don't know is that there are so many people behind the scenes making it happen, checking on the traffic, answering the phones, making the calls, talking to the newsmakers. They're out in the street, into the field to get the raw information, and then putting it all together so that I can sit in front of a microphone and be a source of information every afternoon. But there are so many people who make it happen. That's what you don't know.
Ride Home with Jeff Kaplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Inside Sources on KSL News Radio.
Utah's Silicon Slopes are still growing, and when we often think of the slopes as being the Draper-Lehigh area, there are other areas along the Wasatch Front that are also growing their tech industries, including West Jordan. It was recently announced that a 100-acre data center for artificial intelligence will be built in West Jordan using one of the largest construction loans ever given to a data center. Rusty, what did you say in the break that loan number was?
$2 billion.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yep. What do you think the payment is on a $2 billion?
I don't even know. I can't even count that
I'll
many
work
zeros.
on that while we're talking.
Yeah, could you do that math, please? We are so excited to have the mayor, Dirk Burton, here in studio to talk about this and other exciting tech developments in his city. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here in person.
All right, Mayor, can you tell us about this project? What's happening?
We are so excited with technology growing forward, and data centers is where the hub of technology happens. Because that happens in those technology centers, every one of us, when we use our phone, when we get on computers, we use a data center someplace in the world. Well, we are so thrilled that data centers are choosing to come to West Jordan. And why do we like that? That means people all across the world are doing business in West Jordan.
Yes, and in addition, the word property tax comes to mind.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Rusty has to talk about that.
I don't know if that, that did come to our mind.
Yes, I'm
sure
it did.
We do like the property tax.
You should like it. That's the point that I was making.
Do.
Yes.
And we like that so much. And property tax goes to things, takes care of our roads and infrastructure.
60% of it goes to schools.
And 60% goes to schools.
Yep.
But the city doesn't get to see that. That goes directly to the schools.
Yeah, you'll get your share, but the vast majority will go to the school district, yeah.
But we take our share. We use it for police department, fire department. But the cool thing about data centers they are so self-sufficient. They have their own security system. They have their own fire suppression system. So we seldom get calls out there.
Got it.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
This data takes a lot of energy.
It does.
And I'm wondering I feel like some of the energy you need is water, and I do think water how do I say it? Not the energy, but you need water to help manage the energy output, right?
Yes.
Talk to us about that. Okay, go.
So back in the olden days when you might recall Facebook was talking about coming to West Jordan, and there was a lot of controversy about that, and the big concern was how much water they would use. Well, that's the old data center styles. The new ones don't use water. And so that's why they're attracted to West Jordan, because we don't have water, and they like that. And so we're happy.
have water. You
They
don't
like
want
it to be
take
dry.
any water.
We do have water,
Yes.
but we don't want to give them our water. We want
it.
that for the residents. So
But
the
they
residents get the water, and they use a lot of energy, however.
Yeah, that's what I wanted you to talk about. So the power.
So the power is, they're a very powerful company, and they use power for cooling instead of water. But the other thing, the reason they like West Jordan, because we're in a dry climate, so at night it cools down, so they use less energy at night in order to provide the cooling. And another reason they like West Jordan, when I moved to West Jordan, I looked at a map and I saw that the odds of having an earthquake in West Jordan are lower because of the way the ground is, and if it happens, it's not as destructive. So West Jordan is a great place to be safe, and they look for that because they are very secure. They put these bumper things in their building and their foundation so they don't fall apart when we have an earthquake. So they like that as well. So West Jordan has a lot of advantages for them, and they have a lot of advantages for West Jordan.
I love this, Mayor. So tell me, how was the city involved getting this project? Like, did you call them up and say, we're earthquake proof, we're very dry, it cools in the evening? Like, what are the city's role?
Well, a lot of it, they do that research ahead of time. We have our economic development, which is like David Dobbins and Paul Coates, who work with them and talk to them and give them the data and the information they need to do that. But really, what happened is when that first one happened several years ago, that opened up. People said, why are they looking at West Jordan? And then they studied it, and they saw, we know why they're going to West Jordan. We want to go there, too. We've got 5 different data companies in West Jordan. This isn't just one. We have several others, too. And the first one started several years ago, and it keeps going because they know it's great. And we just got to find a way to get the power. And they're working with Rocky Mountain Power and Dominion Energy in order to get the resources they need to generate the electricity to provide the service that all of us want to use every day.
So it's interesting. That is a big number, $2 billion. J.P. Morgan Chase and Starwood Property Trust, they're the lenders for this $2 billion. The borrower, a venture real estate investor called CIM Group, if I'm saying that right, and Nova Data Centers. That is locked and loaded, it sounds like. The financing is in place. So correct me if I'm wrong, this is going forward.
This is going forward. It is in the works.
When have they broken dirt, or when would this happen?
They have... They already have the property. They already have a place in West Jordan. They're expanding.
Oh, expanding.
They're
okay.
expanding. So
Got
there'll be more.
It's a bit more than your average home expansion.
Yeah,
$2
Mayor,
billion?
so let me ask that question too. So the answer is they need a ton of power. I was reading the facility will provide 175 megawatts of continuous service thanks to that power deal with the local electric utility. But does that mean the rest of us have to turn off our air conditioning in July?
No, because the only time they get power is if Rocky Mountain Power is really good at delegating who gets the power and how much they get, and they take that into account.
Okay.
So that's all taken into account. We will not lose power for them to get power.
Okay.
Got it. Okay, so that's all taken care of.
This all sounds good. No water being taken, no power being taken.
Well, power's being taken, but it's qualified power, so
Gotcha.
it's assigned for that.
And not
already.
crowding out.
It's not crowded. We're not losing power in other places to give there. We aren't going to have brownouts and blackouts because of this place going in there. And if they can't get what they need, they'll find a way to self-generate in order to get the power that they need, not take it away from the existing customers.
Would this be an expansion of jobs for the facility there?
I say yes with a qualified yes. Because not very many. Data centers is mostly storage of
Yeah.
computers.
Yeah.
So there are people in there that maintain it, they run it, they hook up the computers, they put them in there, take them out, and replace them as they wear out. So yes, but not a lot, which is another great benefit. So we don't have to build new lanes, add new streets, have more traffic issues. And the schools love it too, because they don't have to build a new school for these data centers, yet they get the resources from the revenue.
It's a massive amount of tax revenue, and a good
is.
kind for taxing entities. Like you said, you're not adding traffic or parking.
Right.
You're not, now, granted, the job growth might be nice, but at some point that becomes, like you said, traffic and congestion. This is going to be a massive property tax bill that gets to be paid for, like you said, a footprint that's taken. But other than that, it's just a ton of value that is taxable value to provide the services.
Right, and bringing these businesses in will help bring other businesses that help support that, and that'll also provide jobs for other people and support for that as well. So it's not, even though they aren't doing it, it helps. The rising tide raises all ships. And that's what that does for us.
Yeah, and I am interested. I like how you were honest about there's not a ton of job growth there. And just like in the last few seconds, Mayor, but what I just heard you say is maybe other kind of adjacent economies or
support
something.
Services.
Yeah, the support services are going to show up. So Rusty's excited about the tax bill.
Well, I'm not excited. I'm excited that somebody else is going to pay it, meaning this
right.
company.
Isn't that the great
right?
thing?
Yeah, because seriously.
Somebody in some other country, someplace else, is paying our tax bill right here in our local community.
A very valuable tax lesson.
Yeah, no, I love this so much. Mayor, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, and I love KSL.
All right, thanks for listening to Inside Sources. Join Marty Carpenter and Adam Gardner tomorrow for more politics.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott. KSL's top story this hour. The Sundance Film Festival is moving to Boulder, Colorado. KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce reports.
In a news release, the Sundance Institute called Boulder the ideal place to build the future of the festival. Boulder beat out Cincinnati and Salt Lake City for the rights to play host starting in 2027. While the announcement didn't say anything about funding, the state of Colorado put together an incentives package that would pay out about $35 million over 10 years. Both Cincinnati and Utah offered incentives, but on a much smaller scale.
Sundance will be hosted once more in Park City for 2026 before officially moving to Boulder. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. President Trump says he will impose a 25% tariffs on new cars imported into the U.S. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says his country is ready to impose retaliatory tariffs on U.S. imports, but wouldn't go into specifics about what those might be.
The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over.
The tariffs are expected to go into effect on April 3rd, and it sent markets downward. Industry experts also warned that imported car prices could jump by $6,000. Stocks are closed for the day, the Dow closing down 155 points. And coming up, 78 and windy. KSL Weather's next KSL News.